We have entered a new and important year, a time when we need to focus on the challenges and opportunities ahead. Increasingly, I have come to believe that our most significant challenge relates to the decline in the number of active pilots in this country. Today, I'm here to launch a new initiative that I believe can change the flight training paradigm. I believe that over time, we can help more students achieve their dream of flying because we are going to focus on what already works. We find effective programs all over the country, but all too often these success stories are not shared widely, and that's something we can change. You can find out all about the details of the Flight Training Initiative at www.aopa.org/FT Initiative. Let me roll the clock back to 2009. As we were going into the economic downturn, we were already experiencing a decline in the pilot population of active pilots. Our numbers had fallen from more than 800,000 pilots over 20 years ago with current medicals to just over 600,000 today. Why were the numbers declining so sharply? Clearly, many pilots stopped flying for a variety of reasons, everything from financial concerns to time constraints. Too often, these pilots didn't have the support of a flying community to offer encouragement and assistance. When we tracked student pilots, we learned that nearly 80% never completed their training and earned a private pilot certificate. 80%. The statistics looked bad, but at the same time, we knew that there were exceptions. At some flight schools, 75% of the students were routinely completing training and earning pilot certificates. Why were some schools and instructors so successful while others struggled? We decided we needed to dig a little deeper if we wanted to truly understand what was happening and why. We needed to understand what was working and not just what was going wrong. What factors had to be present to help students complete their training and earn a certificate? When we decided to start by looking closely at flight training, we hired a professional research group to conduct a year-long study that provided rich insights into the ingredients for success. We first shared these insights with the GA community at the 2010 AOPA Aviation Summit in Long Beach. But while we had a great deal of what we needed, we still required more input from those directly involved in training. We wanted to validate our research findings, and we wanted to discuss with the GA community just what AOPA could do to raise the bar. We spent most of 2011 working at this, hosting discussions with industry leaders nationwide, and we returned to the AOPA Aviation Summit in Hartford last year to share what we'd learned and get one more round of suggestions from the flight training community. Between the research study and our in-depth conversations with training providers, we know a lot more about what works when it comes to training. The question now is, what can we do to bring about positive change? For me, the answer is a natural one. We need to be very clear about what we know and share that information openly. We need to put a spotlight on what is working in a way that encourages others to move towards success. We need to acknowledge and reward adopters of these best practices, and we need to challenge aviators to be engaged in changing the training paradigm. I will say at the outset that, like any large group, the general aviation community is not monolithic. Many people will agree with us about what we believe to be the reality today. I know this because we have spoken with so many people. I also know some will not agree. But we can't allow that to immobilize us. The decline in the pilot population is real and must be addressed. All we can do is share what we've learned and what we believe can increase the number of active pilots. I know we cannot accept the status quo. That's what has gotten us to where we are today. We have a saying that graces the cover of our flight training magazine. A good pilot is always learning. And that's true of every endeavor we undertake at AOPA. We will never stop learning, and I suspect the things we learn will lead to an evolution of the initiative I will share in a moment. But what I know above all else is that change only comes when we take the first step forward. I believe that is what we are doing, and I hope many others will join us. So here's some of what we know. There are 47 factors that are essential for a successful flight training experience. They fall into 4 broad groupings. Educational quality, offering effective training from professional instructors who are dedicated to students' success. Customer focus, demonstrating professionalism in facilities, equipment, and engagement with the student to add value to the training experience. Community, emphasizing social connections and recognizing accomplishments. Information sharing, equalizing the power relationship between flight training providers and students, thus educating and empowering the consumer. The research report with all the details is available as a downloadable PDF on our website at www.aopa.org/FT Initiative. The key here is that we believe we understand what increases the probability of creating a successful flight training experience. If most of the factors are present, a student will do better. If most are not present, the likelihood of success is not as great. This is a powerful finding and one that can help flight training professionals and students alike if shared. Now we want to put the research to work in a way that we believe can benefit students, flight schools, and everyone who believes in general aviation. I promised I would unveil a new initiative today, and so I will. We are launching the AOPA Flight Training Excellence Awards, brought to you by Flight Training Magazine. These awards are designed to encourage best practices and recognize flight schools and training professionals who put those practices to work every day. Nominations are being accepted starting today at ft.aopa.org/awards, and we will announce multiple winners of this award at AOPA's Aviation Summit in Palm Springs this October. If you are familiar with a flight training program that you believe offers a model for success, we invite you to nominate that program by going online and providing answers to the questions we pose. During the year, our AOPA Flight Training Magazine will report on some of the programs being nominated and explore the factors for success in print and online. For now, the information presented will be viewed by a panel of judges assembled by Flight Training Magazine. However, we do want to create the opportunity for an exchange of information. As we gain more insights, we envision a system where ongoing feedback will be made public in an online format. So join us in the challenge to improve flight training. Details are available online at www.aopa.org/FT Initiative. For those who take the challenge, we have created a special AOPA Flight Training Awards Challenge coin that we hope you will display and share with others. As I conclude, I want to preview an idea that began to evolve while we were exploring how to reduce the student pilot dropout rate. During that process, we began to ask what we could do to make access to general aviation a reality for more people. It's not sufficient to take a student pilot through training if there is no community into which this individual can step to continue his or her flying. So in 2011, we began a more formal inquiry into what makes aviation communities work, and we started by talking to flying clubs. We were able to identify about 300 clubs of all sizes nationwide. We discovered that regardless of whether a club has one aircraft or dozens, members find GA more accessible because the costs of flying are shared, aircraft are more available, and pilots have a built-in support network of fellow aviators. At the same time, these clubs often provide social connections that get the whole family engaged, including non-flying spouses and children. We are continuing to work toward a better understanding of what makes a successful flying club, but we know enough to recognize that the expansion of this approach has real promise. Throughout this year, we will continue to research how the most successful clubs create an atmosphere that helps pilots stay engaged with general aviation. When our research is completed, we will create an awards program that spotlights successful organizations while helping others replicate that success. These efforts will take time, but I believe they will make a difference with your help. When people choose to focus on the most successful and positive practices in any kind of endeavor, things improve. And to be frank, unless those in the aviation community take action, others will not come to our aid. I am committed to making sure AOPA does its part. We are very clear about what we believe, and we will share it forthrightly and encourage participation throughout the GA community. As we learn more, we will share more. Progress begins with a step. Let's take several steps together this year. The future really is in our hands. Thanks for listening, and thank you for your support.